Hey, what's up, Canada and beyond? I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday wherever you're tuning in from, whatever platform you're watching from. Chances are it's probably not Facebook because we are so shadow banned on Facebook. It's become an absolute obscenity. But we are, for the first couple of minutes, going to be streaming onto Facebook, but we're going to be delving into a subject matter that they will again censor me for. So I hope you guys have got plugged in on the LGM.news platform. And if you haven't got us there, then get us on Rumble. That is where consistently, and Wimkin. Shame on me. I almost forgot after our big partnership announcement last night. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. We've got some familiar guests back, and we're going to be talking about a different aspect of what's been going on in Canada a little bit lately. So welcome back to the show, Jody and Chris. I'm excited to have you guys back. It's always a great conversation. So thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
There's so much that I want to touch on. First thing I want to do is, because I was just talking about that, is I want to thank you guys for being contributors and participating in this media coalition over at LGM. It is getting attention. And when it came to the attention of Jason Shepard, the founder and creator over at Wimkin, this was a natural fit. They were looking at an emerging market in Canada of people that wanted truth and no censorship and having a secure social media platform. So we are now working as the official Canadian news provider to the Wimkin platform. And at the same time, after turning down Fox, NBC, ABC, all of them, he made his official world announcement for the launch of his two new platforms, Realster.io and TruthLeaks.com. So he's now directly in competition with TikTok and YouTube. So there are some massively emerging spaces for us. And the LGM coalition is going to reap some great benefits from taking part as early adopters with that. So congratulations. This is a team effort and a team victory, because the whole point of all of that is bringing together Canadian commentators, Canadian truth tellers, Canadian news providers. So this is a really exciting week. And to add on to that, I'm honestly have not had any sugar. I've been like this all week, just simply on sheer adrenaline. But again, we're going to be diving into something that I think people are looking for, and we're going to be talking at length about two specific subjects tonight. Jody's going to be telling us about the Do No Harm tour, and Chris is going to be telling us about the Justice for the Vaccinated initiative. So we talk a lot about the problems and the chaos that's going on. And what excites me about this is we're moving into the justice and accountability phase. That's kind of what really both of these things are to recognize and identify the people that have been injured and let them know that they are not alone, that there are people fighting for them. Mm-hmm. And here's some of the initiatives that are doing exactly that. So I've been ranting long enough. Jody, tell us a little bit about the Do No Harm tour.
So the Do No Harm tour, Dr. Mark Trozzi and Dr. Paul Alexander approached me probably back in late November, early December, and said they wanted to bring truth back to the stage. They wanted to talk about restoring truth in medicine, and they didn't quite know how to bring that to the stage. So they know my escapades with regards to events and organizing different protest rallies, etc. And they asked if I would join their team in bringing the Do No Harm tour to Canada. So I, of course, said yes. I was extremely excited to be able to work with the infamous Dr. Mark Trozzi and Dr. Paul Alexander. And Dr. Mark Trozzi, we've had on our show many times. He's such an incredible man and such a big supporter of the Fringe Majority that, of course, I have to say yes. There wasn't even a second to think about it. So we got working. I got on the phone. I called, I don't know, I think over 180 different venues over the Christmas break. Well, between December 7th and Christmas. Yeah.
You're a warrior.
Dedicated at getting the best value at the best price. That's what I am. And little did I
Amid
know.
everything else that you're juggling already, this is impressive, Jody. I'm glad to hear this.
Thank you. All my friends who are very close to me in my absolute inner circle, Chris included, knows that when I'm with them, they really only get about 10% of my attention because my face is buried in my phone, answering calls, answering messages, and emailing and texting and all this crazy stuff. And I feel horrible for anybody who's in my inner circle because they really don't get me present. But anyway, so, I had no idea. I used to be one of the people pre-COVID that complained about the price of tickets to go anywhere. Now I totally understand the price of tickets. Venues are expensive to book. I'm getting quotes for one day. Even if it's only for 4 hours, they still charge you an entire day. $10,000, $15,000 for these venues. So people, I know because I've been getting the text messages, the emails, and the phone calls saying, oh my God, it's so expensive. It's not anywhere near as expensive as it is to rent these venues that do nothing for you. And then on top of that, they want to charge you to bring in microphones and speakers. And some of them even charge you for a rental of chairs. So please, I don't want to hear any more emails, phone calls saying, oh my gosh, the tickets for the Do No Harm, the tickets per person is $100. But if you bring a group of 5 or more, you get the tickets at $75. But these tours are expensive to run. And these doctors and lawyers and nurses and everybody that is standing up and speaking at these events, most of them are doing it for free. So realistically, the cost of these tickets, nobody's making big dollars on it at all. Most of the venues are making the big dollars, and the rental places that rent the equipment and the chairs and all that are making the big dollars. We are not. But what
Early on, I realized when I started to become a full-time journalist, I was incredibly grateful for that because the events I was covering I would never be able to be there if I had to pay the ticket price, which was generally between $250 to $500. So I was like, yeah, I am journalist, press, and then get in the door and be the fly on the wall. So yeah, I completely get it. And this is one of the things that we're seeing across the board, and people are starting to realize as these initiatives and organizations get more established. We know we're up against billion-dollar machines, and we're trying to do it with good intentions and heart and time, and that for all of its value isn't enough to be effective at scale. And so I think we're getting a point where in Canada where we need to look at how we're operating our resistance and what we're doing community based, a little bit more structured, and we have to find ways to bring the businesses and the people that have skin in the game in Canada. Well, you might want to start investing it back in fighting for Canada too, because you're not going to be able to save it if we aren't able to do what ultimately the goal is, which is achieve freedom. So yeah,
that's it. Freedoming is not free. It's not free. And it's a lot of elbow grease and a lot of money going out without not much money coming in. So the Do No Harm tour, we have an incredible lineup. We've got I'm going to say 6 incredible professionals that are giving of their time. They are coming out and each one is going to do about a 15 to 20 minute presentation. And that'll take up the first 2 hours of the show. And then we're going to take a 10-15 minute break. And then we're going to come back. And the next 2 hours of the show will be completely audience geared and guided. So the audience want me to get you a price.
No, I was just pointing to the question and saying, there's your answer. Contact us. It's on the website. They'll be able to find it there. So
that's it. No, that's okay. So we've got, not only do we have Dr. Mark Trozzi, who hardly ever speaks in public. He's been away, plugging away, researching and getting all this wonderful information. But we got Michael Alexander, the lawyer, who has been representing these doctors who are on trial for their licenses pro bono. So he's one of the lawyers that are actually giving back. He's not making money off the movement. He's giving back to the movement and trying to save patient care and informed consent from going away, and trying to save these really great doctors from losing their practices. And obviously, if they lose their practices, we as patients have now just lost really incredible expertise looking after us. So he's fighting hard for free.
We're losing so many doctors in Canada that are fleeing while they can. The ones that have the guts to stand and fight. There is, to me, in my mind, very few people that we need to support more passionately than the doctors. These particular ones are regulars on this program. Dr. Trotzi, Mark's been on a dozen times. Michael's been on a few times, and these are good people that are using their life and everything that they have to fight on our behalf. So yeah. And
exactly. And then we've got B Love, and she is a nutritionist. She's bringing to the show how to get out of the sick care system and how to actually boost your immune system. So we don't need those other doctors that aren't fighting for us. You can be your own doctor and be your own healthcare advocate. And then, of course, everybody knows, Dr. Lock 'em Up, Paul Alexander, who will be headlining the show, of course, with all of his amazing passion that he brings to the stage. And then we've got Dr. Chris Shoemaker, who has joined the tour. And we have Dr. Charles Hoff, who I believe was the first doctor to have his hospital privileges suspended or taken away from him. And he's fighting for his license right now as well. And Michael Alexander is representing each one of these doctors that are on the tour. And then, of course, Dr. Mark Trozzi. You got to love the man. Nobody works harder, I think, in this movement than him. And he's literally lost everything. He had to sell his house and everything for the last 3 years. And I believe he was the first doctor in Ontario to actually speak out against the CPSO and against the government mandates and regulations. So kudos to him. And then, of course, I'll be joining them on stage. I'm not as prestigious as these guys, but you're going to learn so much information, and it's your chance to actually ask the pressing questions that are important to you. And at no rally or protest or other event that I've ever gone to have they ever given the audience the opportunity to ask their questions and actually guide the conversation. So this, I believe, is the first event to actually do that. So it's very interactive. It's very personable. And after the show, these guys are going to stick around for photo opportunities. Give them your love, hugs, congratulations, handshakes, whatever. Take a picture. Let them know that you support them and that you back what they're doing. So that's do no harm.
I know every one of these doctors personally. I haven't had the opportunity to meet them all in the flesh yet, but we've been in the trenches with these guys since the beginning, and this I wish this was closer. I would give my eye teeth to be there, but I can't this time around. But I get a lot of time with these guys already, so I'm unfairly blessed already, I'll have to say. And the last thing I guess I want to touch on for that is where people can get tickets. Here is the Eventbrite link. What I will do is I will actually paste that into the chat for folks, and these are the ones that, these are the events, these are the things that need us to come together on. People
agree.
talk about unity all the time. Well, this is one of those things that there is no way to overstate how much you'll get out of taking part in something like this. These doctors are so personable. They will not rest until every question that people have is answered and every demand for their time is met. They are so giving. These are the people we should aspire to be more like as a whole. I think, but definitely have a biased opinion on
That's
this.
it. And Saturday, January 28th. So that's this Saturday coming. We're going to be in Oakville from noon to 4. And then on Sunday, we're going to be in Windsor from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So if you're in and around those areas, or if you're within, driving distance that you're comfortable with, buy a ticket, come out, $100 per person, get a group of friends, get a group of people, friends that are not in the freedom movement, friends who are vaccine injured, friends who don't know this information, and give them a ticket for free. You buy it, of course, but give them a ticket as a gift so that they can get informed, because you're not getting this information on the mainstream media, from our government, from our chief medical officers. So this is where you get it. Oakville this Saturday, Windsor on Sunday. Tickets $100 per person, or a group of 5 or more, it's $75. So save yourself some cash and bring a group of friends. Go to donoharmtour.com. That's where you can also get the tickets, or eventbrite.ca to get the tickets.
And share this out, guys. Share this out everywhere and tell people the details that they've been looking for are in here for both of the events that they have the most questions about. One of the reasons why I pestered Chris when I had his attention the other day to do this was because I've been fielding questions for this, and I'm like, no, I don't like answering questions when I have access to the people that are actually doing the stuff. So it's always better than to quote experts when you can bring them on. So this is another one of those exciting things. Anything else that we need to know about what these guys are doing, what they're up against? I'm sure some of it will come up as we cross over into Chris's forte here very shortly, because they are interconnected, right?
They really are. And everybody on this poster except for Dr. Charles Hoff, because we've actually flown Dr. Charles Hoff in from BC to be at this event. And again, if anybody has traveled lately, we know the price of flying is not cheap. But he was the first doctor to be suspended. So we felt he needed to be on this tour to tell his story. And every single one of these people have an incredible story. B Love, she was an entrepreneur, had this amazing nutrition business, cooking business, and COVID shut her down. She lost everything, sole proprietor, lost everything, her dreams, everything. Michael Alexander, lawsuits are not cheap. And he's fighting for Dr. Lishku, Dr. Patrick Phillips, Dr. Trazi, oh my God, Dr. Killian. There's so many doctors that he's representing pro bono. So I know that there's fundraising campaigns that Take Action Canada has in order to help out with those costs. And then, of course, we know Mark, first doctor, lost everything, had to sell his home in order to stay in this fight. And he is out there banging doors. Dr. Paul Alexander, he is back and forth from the States to Canada. And he's meeting with
both countries with the same amount, and he wasn't even born here.
Exactly. And anybody who was at the Freedom Convoy got to see him and Dr. Chris Shoemaker up on that stage, with the passion in their soul, fighting for everything. Dr. Shoemaker has lost everything as well. He was a doctor for 45 years, and he's lost everything. And the amount of abuse that they've taken in the media, social media and mainstream media, has been absolutely incredible. And all of these voices have been censored. So if you want to hear their voices, you either have to try and find them through all the shadow banning that's going on, find their sites, find their channels, or you've got to come to events like this. And I can guarantee you are not going to be disappointed. And we've been meeting basically daily, talking about what they're going to be saying so that there's no overlap. So you're not going to hear the same thing, the same information repeated from each one. You're going to get a little bit of their story, because stories make them human. So you're going to get a bit of their human side. You're going to get some jokes, some fun, but you're also going to get some really great information that you can share. So please bring someone who doesn't know the information, someone from the other side, someone who is just waking up. I know a lot of us have been here for 3 years or longer, so we know this stuff, but there are so many people that don't know and now have questions. Bring them.
Well, even there's the people that know what's been going on. There's been so much evidence that has been exposed in the last couple of months, and in the dilution of the media noise out there, I find it's sometimes these kinds of things are as important for the people that are on the tip of the spear of the information, because then they get to eliminate a lot of the noise that has been in their grill, and they can really take advantage of the information that they learn at these things. So I want to bring Chris on here. This is probably the longest we've kept him quiet in his podcasting career. So
Yeah.
starts to make the crossover between what these guys are doing and what you're doing. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up I guess the host or the promoter creator of this next event, but it's the Justice for the Vaxxed initiative and organization. Now, this is something that I haven't had anybody on our shows yet to explain this or to talk about this. I know
okay.
that this is probably there's others out there in the community that are going to be watching this that will know some stuff about it, but tell us right from give us the run up right from the beginning of Justice for Vaxxed. And
Sure. Yeah, it's a bit of a story. And I'll put it in the context that when we started this, nobody was talking about this. We all knew that injuries were happening, but nobody was talking about it. And we were broaching the subject, but the people who are actually injured, they weren't coming forward. So I want that context. So this actually was birthed more out of the convoy than anything, because the convoy ended and the mandates were getting dropped immediately. But the convoys were still coming around in the different cities, and they were still going around and honking. And I was starting to see in mainstream media comments from outside the echo chamber, why are they still doing this? Because the mandates were dropped. And the thing that hit me is they're actually talking. They're actually asking questions. And that was really important, because they'd taken this different stance than "you guys are crazy." They're actually asking questions as to why they're doing this. So I thought, maybe the convoy had done a misstep, that they shouldn't have made the goal to ending the mandates. They should have made it prosecutions. And then there's no stale date on that. It's just, we could keep going forever on that. But not to criticize, but I thought, well, maybe we need to get them to change those goalposts. And then I was on a Zoom call with Vincent Gerses, and a lot of people know who Vincent is. He's retired
another
OPP
regular
officer
here.
Yeah, so your audience is very familiar. And I was on a Zoom call with him, and we were looking for something that would make them ask questions. And he just offhand one day said, what we need is justice for the vaccinated. And a light bulb went on, because we knew that not only would that achieves that going for the end goal of prosecutions, but the term justice for the vaccinated makes people ask questions. Like, why would the vaccinated need justice? So outside the echo chamber, it's like, well, the vaccinated got vaccinated and they're fine. So now it makes them ask the question, well, why are you asking for justice for them? And so it really kind of breaks that psychological warfare, and breaks that lock. And we know once people start asking questions, then they start going down the rabbit hole on their own. And that's the first step to waking up. So we thought we had a tiger by the tail with that. So when we went out on the first tour, and the reason we went out on the first tour is because people they weren't sharing their stories. We've had tools online available for them to share their stories and tell testimonials, but people weren't doing that. And so we went out on tour on a bus to go into the communities and go get them And we thought, we'll do these conferences and we'll get these people and we'll do the testimonials with them. We'll videotape them. We'll get their stories up onto VaxTracker. And for those of you who don't know, VaxTracker is a database that records all the vaccine injuries. And so we're getting accurate reporting through VaxTracker, because Canada is about grossly underreported by about 30 times. And so we needed to gather this evidence for our end goal of prosecutions, but we'll get into that in a minute. So we went out into the community and we started taking this bus, and this bus went out, had giant justice for the vaccinated all over it. And we went through BC, and they've done 2 tours. I did the first tour, and then they did one through BC and Alberta, and then sort of a smaller one through Saskatchewan. But then we would come out, and Amanda Forbes from Children's Health Defence Canada, she said, what they did with the Vaxxed bus is they had people sign the bus. And I said, and so she goes, are you doing that? And it's like, I don't know. And she goes, no, you're doing that. And so we did. And we got people to start doing the bus. But then we did one better. We talked to Dallas Fillion from Silent Survivors, she's been gathering testimonials forever and reading them out. And we took her testimonials and we plastered them all over the bus. And this bus became a living museum of people who have been vaccine injured. So we did that. And what we learned when talking to people who are vaccine injured, we learned, number one, that justice takes many forms. And the first form is validation. So all these people, they know their body turned when they took the shot. And they know that things started happening that the second that happened. Like, one guy had his foot starting to swell up in 20 minutes. So he knew it was a result of the shot. But so they go to their doctors, and their doctors say, oh, no, you're crazy. It's something else. It's, it's hysteria, whatnot. And so just the act of validating them face to face, I can't tell you how many people have broken down just because they got validated, just because we said, no, you're not crazy. This is a vaccine injury. And, we don't need to be doctors to validate them in that. We just need to say, you're right about how you have reacted and how your body reacted and how you know what your body is and what your body is doing. So first and foremost, justice has looked like validation. So now we're starting to gather that evidential or experiential evidence. And why that's important is we've got Ken Drysdale, who did that amazing criminal package. We have places like CCCA that are doing the medical data and the medical evidence, but you can refute those. You can go expert to expert and refute those with experiential evidence like testimonials and the VaxTracker. That's not refutable. So when you combine all those evidence packages together, now you've got something to take to the citizens inquiry coming up, and if we have our way, we'll be prosecuting the criminals responsible for this. And the other thing that we're doing is we're normalizing talking about it. People haven't come forward because they're fearful. A lot of them are afraid of what the hell have I put into my body, and they don't want to face the truth on that. And then so we're able to give them hope. There are protocols and there are solutions. We just had Dr. Goodenow on last night, who's got a way to reverse all of the side effects. So
he's coming up.
Is he coming up on your show?
Yeah.
Great. That's great. Yeah. And the more we can get the word out, because he's seeing real results from these things. So that's awesome. So we're telling them that there's no reason to be afraid. There are people working on solutions, and the other thing is a lot of people are very shamed because they took it against their will, and they feel powerless, and they felt
they've seen the abuse.
Well, exactly. Yeah. A lot of people, frankly, they feel like they've been medically raped. Right. And so there's this shame, there's the same kind of shame, and they don't want to come forward. So they weren't coming forward. So this bus is normalizing it. And now we're seeing injured people get onto Twitter spaces, and they're coming forward, and it's starting to become a normal thing. So now we can start moving into that evidence area, and the reason the government isn't dealing with this is because they know the one basic truth is that none of these people are vaccine injured. All of them are government injured, and that's why they're not admitting that these victims exist. But that's every day they don't is another day they're victimizing them, and it's another day they're not working on solutions. So now we have to step in for the government because they didn't do their job. And justice for the I'm reading the sign, justice for the vaccinated is that thing. So, but it's very expensive. We have these tours, and then eventually want to move into pop-up conferences without the tours because the bus is expensive. And ultimately we want to have community support groups, so they're self-serving, and these people are coming forward and they're helping each other gather that evidence. And we really need to get this Vax Tracker evidence and the experiential evidence going. So that's the whole idea behind Justice for the Vaccinated. And this fundraiser is coming up in February 4th and 5th. So it's the Ontario kickoff, basically.
I think that this is sorely overdue for the general public. We've spent so much energy in the last couple of years connecting the dots on the crimes. We've been so polarized by all of that it's taken such a mind drain from the people that are working towards solutions. And we're never going to get to healing. And this is a conversation I have often. We're never going to get to healing without a stop at accountability and justice, whatever that may look like. That will be, agreed upon within societies, but this is something that has to be addressed. And you said something that really struck me there is how people were responding, equating this to the same mindset as being raped. And one of my dearest friends is a leading trauma expert, and we talk about this all of the time. Is the trauma what we're dealing with every day is the results of the trauma. The experiment and the abuse creates the trauma, that rape complex, and then they go into hiding and denial while this stuff is working against them instead of seeking help. And you cannot get help until you ask. Nobody can help you if you don't speak out. Nobody can do anything for you if we don't know about you. And so we need to be hearing from the people that even if there's a concern or a question, if something doesn't feel right or doesn't look right or doesn't jive, or talk to one of these people in these groups. Nobody in these groups and organizations is there to berate you or make you feel guilty or to say anything negative or judge you. All of these groups and organizations are there to help and to hold people accountable. And that's something that I've been looking forward to since I think one of my fifth doctor talk with Dr. McCullough, when we were talking about the day that we would see justice and we would never be able to stop until we get there. And so I'm excited to see this moving forward. So sorry to interrupt. I'm again on that adrenaline kick this week. So so this is you're trying to streamline what you guys are doing and to scale this through some events and doing some other stuff. So tell us about this fundraiser, Chris.
So this fundraiser, I'll talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to steal Jody's thunder. I just want to say Jody's been the forefront on organizing this event while doing the Do No Harm tour event. She has been amazing, and it's great because I don't have to put in that much effort when she's working so hard. So but this event, it's a 2-day event, and we have 18 speakers, and there's actually more coming. We haven't announced them all yet, but we actually have a couple more added to it. And it's the first event, I think, of its kind, because it's a huge conference for Canada. And it's you know what? I'm gonna back off because Jody is amazing. I don't want to steal her thunder. I don't want to steal her spotlight. She's organized this whole thing, so I don't feel right talking about it because I'm taking kudos away from her. So you go ahead. It's your baby. You go right ahead.
It's only my baby here in Ontario. Chris birthed this idea way back when. I'm now going to take that 6-month-old baby and continue upbringing it. Let's just say that.
And Sophie's choiced it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I basically built this conference around all the real estate conferences that I used to attend pre-COVID. And I'm going, what can we do that is different? I'm already doing the Do No Harm tour, but what can we do that's different here that will bring people out that hasn't been done before? And I got thinking, wait a minute, breakout rooms. Nobody's done breakout rooms before. So why don't we do breakout rooms and give people that one-on-one personal discussion time with each of these professionals? So that's how this turned into a 2-day fundraiser. Originally, I wanted to do a big gala, but we couldn't find a venue that would be willing to allow us to do a gala and go against government mandates should they come back in. So we had to scrap the New Year's Eve gala idea and go for the 2-day United Health Conference fundraiser. So in the morning, we have on Saturday, February 4th, from 9 to 12:30, we will have, I believe it's 12 to 14 presenters. So they'll get 15 to 20 minutes each to present whatever it is that they're an expert in. We've got incredible speakers. Oh my gosh. We've got like Dr. Sam Dubé, Dr. Mark Trozzi, Dr. Paul Alexander, Dr. Chris Shoemaker, Dr. Patrick Phillips, Dr. Joe Kellerstein, all going to be speaking. We've got Michael Alexander, we've got Glenn Jung, we've got Vincent Gerses, we've got the fabulous Chris Fleck also speaking all Saturday morning. They're going to be doing presentations all morning long. And then from 12:30 to 1:30, we're going to take a break because everybody needs to eat lunch and nourish and get our energy levels back up. Go outside, get some fresh air. And then at 1:30 till 5 o'clock, we're going to have 6 breakout rooms. And in each of those breakout rooms, you're going to get 2 professionals standing in front of you, and you're going to be in a room with approximately 80 to 100 people. So we go from this big room where everybody is friends to all of a sudden private little rooms, and everybody that comes is going to be put into a room. They're going to be assigned a room, and that's the room you spend the rest of the afternoon in. And our speakers are going to rotate to each of those rooms. So you're going to get 30 to 45 minutes with each of these speakers, one-on-one with only 80 other people, to ask your questions, have a discussion. There's no presentation in these rooms. It's all audience geared. And then in the evening, we're going to have a wonderful dinner. Again, we're going to deplete the audience number down for the dinner, so it's a more private one-on-one. We're going to have share stories. And again, the dinner attendees are going to lead the conversation with these amazing professionals. And there'll be photo opportunities, shake the hands, everybody become friends, exchange social media information, and go from there. And then Sunday. So Saturday is all about overall health. It's all overall health. Sunday is the really big, important day that is all vaccine focused. So this is where we're going to present the documentary Vax 2 from 11 to about 12:30. At 12:45, we're going to start presentations. And I don't think we're going to have any room for Q&A because, again, we've got about 14 to 18 presenters on Sunday. We've got not only professionals, some that are staying from Saturday, but we've got also some new professional faces for Sunday. And we're also going to have these amazing, courageous people that took the vaccine and have suffered injury, brave enough to come on stage and share their stories. And hopefully what they share will be an aha moment for people sitting in the audience. So if you know someone, again, on the other side, who's uninformed, who's suffering an injury and maybe isn't quite connecting the dots, this would be a great time to treat them to a $75 ticket for Sunday to come and share information and let them see other people who are suffering the same things that they are, so that they know they're not alone. So Sunday is really about making those connections. It's about sharing those stories and also solutions. There are solutions out there. And Tracy Ann Zimmerman, who works who works with Dr. Goodenow, she's going to have a booth there, and she's going to have some information, some solutions. Vaccine Choice Canada is going to have a booth there. Take Action Canada is going to have a booth there. There's a group that just called me today from Ottawa who is bringing down a booth as well. Canadian frontline nurses are going to be there. They're going to have a booth. So there's going to be a plethora of information for you to not only hear, but physically take home with you. So we've got, this event is a tiered seating, ticketed priced event for just Saturday morning only. So just the presentations on Saturday morning, the cost is $50. If you want to do the full day, so the presentations plus the Q&A breakout rooms, it's $100. If you want to do the full day plus dinner, it's $250. If you want to just do Sunday, it's $75. But if you want to do the whole 2-day event, you get some savings at $300. We also have a 10% discount. So the more people you bring with you, the bigger your discount is. I believe there's a 10% discount, and we were discussing today perhaps offering a 15% discount for even larger groups. So that's what's going on. And literally, 30 minutes, Chris, before coming in, are we allowed to talk about this or no?
I haven't gotten the go ahead, so we can talk about it with no names, I guess. But
okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to it?
Sure.
Or?
Yeah, we
Okay.
gotta. I'm not really up on this. You told me about it, but we got a donor of $750, and so what we are going to do with that is offer that out to vaccine.
No, it was her condition. She was going
she
to
did a
give
challenge, right? Okay,
Yes.
so we're offering out a 50% discount for vaccine injured people, and she's issued a challenge to more people to make those donations. So if you've been vaccine injured and you want to attend, because the last thing we do, all the pop-up events that we're going to be doing going forward, those are going to be all free events for vaccine injured. And the last thing we want to do is make money off vaccine injured people. So, but being a fundraiser,
But I was going to say, but we can only do those pop-ups if we
Right.
raise the money. Otherwise, we have no
Right.
pop-ups.
Exactly. So we're going to offer a discount for vaccine injured people so they can come and learn. We're going to have so much information for people who want to be able to talk to vaccine injured. We're going to have handout cards for people that will help them connect those dots. We've done a targeted marketing campaign because people still haven't figured out that they're actually vaccine injured. So I guess the challenge is, if you're vaccine injured, the challenge is she's asking more people to donate so we can bring more vaccine injured people into this event so they can learn, get solutions, understand what's happening to them, and take back power over their own bodies. So
Right. So the first $750 challenge, which she put forward, that unfortunately, if you're not a member of the Silent Survivors group on Facebook, which is Dallas Fillions group, and those are the pictures that you're seeing going across the screen right now. All of those people are part of Silent Survivors. They're all vaccine injured. I believe the group has over 400 people in it.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been put out there yet because I literally had to come into your show, but I'm putting it out to them first. So the $750 at 50% off will cover 5 vaccine injured tickets. So that's
they're buying tickets for 5 others if they're going to be brave enough to come.
You got it. And they'll get to take part in that 50% off,
I love
which will
that
eat up
challenge.
it'll eat up that $750. So the donor has put out a challenge to other people, because there's a lot of people in this movement, especially in this movement, that have money and can afford to go to events like this, but those who really need it. These people are vaccine injured. A lot of them are now out of work because they can't work, but they're the ones that need this information. They're the ones that need these solutions. So the challenge from our donor was challenging other donors to put forward money with the condition that it goes to a vaccine injured person and pay for part of their ticket so that they can afford to come. So anybody out there that's sitting on some money and doesn't know what to do with it, here's what you can do with it. You can give the gift of a discount to someone who really needs it. You can contact Chris or myself, Jody at tfmcast.com, or Chris at tfmcast.com.
No H.
And no H,
No H.
CRIS.
That's right.
And you can let us know what your donation is. We'll tell you how to get it to us, and then we will put it out there what your challenge is. Or maybe you go on your own social media and say, hey, I've got a challenge. give me 3 vaccine injured. I'm going to give you a discount on your ticket. I'm going to pay for your ticket, or hey, I'm going to just let you go for free on my dime. So that's the challenge.
If people, people out there think it feels pretty good to buy the car behind you at Timmy's at the drive-through, take this one on for size, guys. This is a real pay it forward, a pay it forward that'll not just make somebody's moment, but it may change their life. So I absolutely love this initiative, and one of the things that occurred to me while you were talking, Chris, about this, and Jody, about this particular event. I've been watching this group from the inception since to now through some of the communities that we overlap in, and there was such a huge response to the bus tour, but that was Western Canada, and people across the country were wanting it to come across the country, but it's just was not cost feasible in any way, shape, or form.
No.
So this event, it is, if I'm taking this correctly, is a way to make that connection without the bus.
Yeah, I mean, the bus was never going to be the long-term solution. A bus tour is very expensive. And we really need to make a big start, and we felt we did that, but we're going to start diminishing the bus a little bit because it's so much money, and that money needs to go towards doing more events. Eventually, we would love to have a way to pay for vaccine injuries and compensate people. I talked to somebody on the road that her husband, I mentioned him earlier, his foot started swelling up within 20 minutes. And basically what it was is it flared up his MS, which had been under control for years and years and years. And within a month, he was in the hospital in a coma. And so this was the first shot of a Pfizer dose. And so his family was told to put him on or take him off life support, and they refused. He pulled out of the coma after that, so they wanted to off him right away, and they said no. So he pulls out of the coma, but they're understaffed, so they wanted to go in and help him, and she was forced to take this very same shot that put him in there in order to go in and take care of him. And then she developed a whole bunch of health issues, so she can't work now. Now they're on welfare, and that's the sort of thing that your heart breaks, because what you want to do is just give them a giant lump of cash, because she's dealing with her husband in the hospital. He can't speak, he can't stand. She's just trying to reconnect with him. She's got to worry about money. They're going to lose their house, and this is the sort of crap you hear out on the road, and it's heartbreaking. So we would love one day for all this money to go towards helping people, and also putting a lot of pressure on our government, because they need to step up and fix what they did. Period. So we do want to see prosecutions at the end of the day as well.
One of those multi-million-dollar lottery winners, this would be a great place to step up and make a huge impact. And maybe that's something we have to look into, is community lottery pools.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I mean, this is what I see across the board. So many great people doing so many great things, getting their hearts ripped out of their chest every single day. And the biggest obstacle the single solitary biggest obstacle that every initiative faces in trying to be effective is money.
Yep, it is.
A lack of money.
Yeah, and you look at the Emergency Measures Act that came out, and you look at Jeremy McKenzie getting debanked. People are very nervous about donating money too. So the donations have dried up since.
That's by design again. It just came to my attention this afternoon that tomorrow and the next day, the class action suit that the residents of Ottawa are filing against the truckers, they are arguing to have every person that donated digitally to that convoy listed as defendants in this class action lawsuit, because they donated to people that were going to commit crimes. Right? So they're intentionally attempting to intimidate people from supporting strong initiatives. That's what they fear the most. So that's not going to get easier. So we got to get braver, and we got to find the people that have the ability to make an impact and to to do so quickly. So
Yeah.
That's it. And this is an initiative that will heal the country. Like all of us, this has affected everybody. We all know somebody who is vaccine injured. So this is something we can all get on the same page of. And Krista says this all the time. This is something that the government is afraid of, that we unite again under the same banner: white, black, red, green, brown, English, French, West Coast, East Coast. It doesn't matter. We all are being affected by this. Our families, our friends, our colleagues are all being affected by this. So this is something that can unite our country. It can heal our nation. And it is something that we can rise up against the government for together. It is a government-induced injury. And we all have to start adapting that language.
there's only two kinds of Canadians. There are victims and perpetrators.
Yeah.
Because even if you haven't had the concoction, you are a victim of this abuse at some level, way, shape, or form in your life. Nobody has been unimpacted by this. No Canadian, unless they are one of the perpetrators, has escaped a negative impact, whether it's themselves directly, a family member, financially, community. Every single one of us are the victims or the perpetrators of this government-induced injury program.
Exactly right. So, the first thing we did right out of the gate is we said there's no vaccinated, unvaccinated. We're all in one group. And that group is all people who've been lied to because informed consent had been removed. So we're all together in this.
Correct.
And first thing we did was try and eliminate that division. We got flack right out of the gate. Like, why are you focusing on the vaccinated when it was the unvaccinated that got abused? Right. But we did our best, and we don't get those comments anymore. People are understanding the unity behind it, which is really great now.
Yeah, they get it. We were all abused. All of us were abused, right? So just different forms of abuse. And these people are suffering now probably forever. Those of us who didn't get it and took that abuse, that was temporary. We still have our health. That was temporary. This is forever.
And now we have the responsibility as well, because as moral and ethical people, we cannot leave those people to just wither away and die because they were victims of a bad government, or victims of crimes. I mean, we're humans are just not wired that way. So the people that are fighting now and standing up for the intervention are doing so that we can get to that. I would way rather be helping people than fighting my government, but they leave us no choice. So this is where we as inspired as I am by all of this, I find myself even more because of the good stuff that's happening, the growth, the momentum, the dial is shifting. I find myself even more frustrated than I was 6 months or a year ago. 6 months or a year ago, I was pretty much despondent. Now, I'm eager to see some of these things get what they need in order to make that mega impact. And this is where I've been so excited this week, because we're going to start to see not necessarily a shift in the ancient mercenary media, but we're going to be able to start making a bigger impact on the parallel press, the new media. That is an environment that's evolving and exploding. And I'm kind of winding down here a little bit off of this, because Chris is going to be a guest tomorrow again, and Jody, the invite is open to you too. If you're brave enough to join us tomorrow, we're having a massive roundtable with an open invite to all of the content creators on the LGM platform, because we know that we have now a huge new group of people and eyes on that are interested, that want to hear. And so we're going to be dissecting and peeling the layers back on what we're up against, what's coming in the media, the nightmares that we're facing, and why groups need to get prepared. And it's not just a celebration of what we're doing moving forward, but it's more a sense of urgency, because we need to get initiatives like this moving forward. And this is a huge display of what cooperation can achieve. And we get a chance to like I said, get to the leaders, again, the experts, the ones that are on the tip of the information spear, talking about what we're dealing with, what we're going through, and what we're going to be able to do in the very near future. So that's tomorrow night. So Chris, I am kind of bogarting Chris this week a little bit from you, Jody, but it's for worthy causes, and I hope maybe you can squeak some time to pop in and join us tomorrow. There's going to be Shadow Davis, Chuck Black, Sean Newman, Mark Parlavos from Canada Poly. It's going to be a whack of us, so it'll be.
You need a woman in there. You do.
You sure do.
Right?
That's male dominated.
Well, I did send an invite to Wendy Bell, but that's kind of, she runs an early morning show, so that's kind of late for her. But the invite's there. Fingers crossed. Maybe her or her producer, either one, will show up. We'll see. They're incredibly supportive as well. But again, those are the this is going to be a unique time for to break those silos, those echo chambers. That's one of the biggest benefits that I've seen coming from what we've been doing there too, is people are meeting others that are in the same space, that think like them, that work like them, and we're learning from each other, and we're helping each other and helping each other be better through what we're doing. So it's really exciting. So I'm looking forward to hopefully what will be the first of many more, but a roundtable from the gold at the LGM game.
Well, I'll do some advocating. I'm pretty sure we can get Jody to show up. So,
well, you're in a unique position of leverage there. So I'll stay out of it. I'll stay out of it after that. So, is there anything that you guys that we missed in this tonight? I'm incredibly grateful for you guys coming on here and giving us such a highlight on these two programs, and I guess it's kind of a bit of an update for the community on what some of the people that they're following and paying attention to are doing, because they are, they're everywhere, but they're nowhere. They're, when you need to talk to them, you can't find them. And when, but they're doing stuff elsewhere. But so anything that you guys missed?
Yeah, I think one last thing that's really makes this different, and that is it's being helped along by some organizations. So it's being helped along with Take Action Canada. It was being helped along with Canadian Voters Association, Carrie Simpson out in BC here, BCC, and Children's Health Defense Canada. So there are a lot of organizations that are involved and that are helping out. But people say, well, who's behind it? And it's basically no one. Because the intent of this is not to own it. The intent of this is to build it up and let it go and let it be. We have people in the States who want to take it on. We have people in Australia who want to take it on. We have people in the Netherlands who want to take it on, in Italy that want to take it on. Now New Zealand want to take it on. So we want to build something up that's a turnkey grassroots movement kind of thing, and can just go easily into any community and just be built up. So the idea is not to take ownership over it. The idea is to protect it so it's not tainted or somebody doesn't misuse it, but by all means, not own it so it's controlled. We really want to let this go and let it be a movement more than a campaign.
That's one of the things that I had meant to bring up and point a highlight on here, is that you guys do something on this platform that's a little bit different than others as well. Is a lot of people have resources. You guys have got all kinds of different resources. It's not big pictures here, but this stuff is there for people to use in their communities and in their fights as well. So check this stuff out, guys. I'm sure there's going to be something in there that will help you in what you're doing in your local communities. So no, that's amazing stuff. Definitely very much. I appreciate you guys. It's already been a long week for me, and it's only Tuesday. So
Yeah.
I feel your grief.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
I woke up yesterday morning and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Monday morning and I'm exhausted.
I
So
know. Yeah, we feel you. I fly out to Toronto on Thursday to start doing these 2 tours with Jody. So yeah, it's going to be a busy month for sure.
well, I look forward to seeing how this goes, and hopefully you guys get a lot of support. I hope a lot of people step up and enough to make sure that these things aren't one and done. We need a lot more of these things with the level of communication interruption, censorship, all of those things. These are prime opportunities. And if you're a part of a group or a movement or something and you can't be there, make sure that you make your group leaders or your community leaders aware of these kinds of things. If you guys have to crowdsource out of your little group to get your leader to one of these events, it's worth their weight in gold. Nobody will leave with an empty tank. So, so grateful for what you guys are doing and continue to do, and I look forward to catching up again real soon, and maybe bending some ears tomorrow.
Yeah, well, thanks for
Appreciate
having
that.
us, and we are excited to be on the Looking
Yeah.
Glass Media page as well. We're
Yes.
really proud to be a part of that family. So,
And if you can't afford to come, there is a donate button at vaxjustice.org, and you can donate $5, $10, $2, $20 if you can't afford to come, or if you're too far away to come. Because I know this Justice for the Vaccinated 2-day United Health Conference is in Toronto at the Sheridan Centre. And if that's just too far away to drive because you're in Sarnia or Thunder Bay or Windsor, donate. $10, $5, $20, whatever you can, because all of the donations go right back into the program. It's all run by volunteers. These pop-ups are 100% volunteer based, and they don't happen unless the funds are there. And it's our way of giving back to the community and helping them set up those support systems within the community, much like Alcoholics Anonymous. Anybody who's vaccine injured feels alone, and they need a place to go within the community where they've got a face that they could see, who understands what they're dealing with, and can hug, because we all need a hug.
Fantastic. Thanks again so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thanks, Wayne. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure. Bye for now. All right, guys, that was like taking a drink from a fire hose. A couple of amazing programs, wonderful people, the kind of people that I would give anything to support and do, and anything that I can do. I serve these people, and that's why we like to share these wonderful people with the community. So I appreciate you guys all taking your time. Don't miss Shadow's show tonight. He's on in about an hour. I know he's going to have some really good stuff. And if you're not familiar with him, you can also find him streaming on the LGM.news platform. And I just got confirmation today that we're going to have some other new amazing and popular content creators coming on there too real soon. So stay tuned. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I love you all. Stay Canadian, keep strong, keep fighting, and we will make Canada again. Bye for now.